Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Eric Viano. Adam Atkinson is off tonight. Reaction is pouring in today following that hostile meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy yesterday. The meeting was carried live around the world, and today the Ukrainian Canadian Congress here in Hamilton is reacting, calling it a deliberate attack on the Ukrainian president.
You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy arrived at the White House yesterday for high-stakes talks with President Trump about a mineral deal and the war in Ukraine. But when the meeting got underway, an astonishing exchange as the two world leaders shouted at one another after Zelenskyy challenged Vice President J.D. Vance about how peace with Russian President Vladimir Putin would be successful. Here are some snippets of the exchange edited for time.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
If you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
With guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't with me. That wasn't with me. That was with a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person. That was with Obama.
It was your president.
Zelenskyy left early with no deal.
I was absolutely shocked and totally stupefied.
The president of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress in Hamilton, Alina Lazar, believes this meeting was a deliberate attack on the Ukrainian president and says it has global implications.
The behavior of the American president and the vice president was worse than a 5-year-old. I think a message is sent to all people around the world, not just Ukrainians, that you can't trust or believe a word that the current president, vice president, and the current American administration, what they say and what they do.
Oral Braun, a professor of international relations and political science at the University of Toronto, says he has never seen anything like this before.
This is not normal by any American standards. I do not know of any American president who would behave this way. This is not an exchange. It was not a matter of sort of insulting each other. This was basically an ambush.
Senator Lindsey Graham showing support for Trump.
Somebody asked me, am I embarrassed about Trump? I have never been more proud of the president.
Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban expressing his support for Trump on X. Meanwhile, messages of support from world leaders for Zelenskyy have come in, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Writing on X, Canada will continue to stand with Ukraine and Ukrainians in achieving a just and lasting peace. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer welcomed Zelenskyy to Downing Street today, saying the UK stands with Ukraine. And Prime Minister Trudeau is heading to London as well, where he'll attend a European Defence Summit tomorrow.